You know, as a Marvel fan, one of the biggest pet peeves that I have is in Avengers Infinity War when Iron Man meets Doctor Strange and the two talk to each other. Look, the MCU is kind of known for making quips at rather inappropriate times, as in making a joke when the mood is supposed to be serious. And as such, I found it to be a huge missed opportunity when you have two giant actors that both played Sherlock Holmes in the same scene and nobody says, "No shit, Sherlock." Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest, but today, my friends, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite scenes in any piece of Sherlock Holmes media, the slow motion boxing match from Sherlock Holmes. You guys have probably seen at least one of these two movies. They're very good, especially this first one. This was Guy Ritchie's take on Sherlock Holmes. It's kind of the classic Sherlock Holmes that we all know and love, and with some of that charming Robert Downey Jr. sauce on it. The movies can be praised for just about everything, and they did do a lot right, but one of the most revolutionary things done in this movie is the slow motion boxing match. Maybe it's just me, like, as a man, but I get so jacked up when I see this scene. It is just so fueled with intensity. You feel clever, you feel smart. It's so encompassing, you know? So if you're a fan of filmmaking or just incredible visuals or good movies in general, make sure you stick around and check out today's episode. I'm Kier with JoBlo Originals, and you're watching Scene Breakdown. 2009's Sherlock Holmes stars Robert Downey Jr. as the titular character and was directed by iconic filmmaker Guy Ritchie. The film also stars Jude Law as Dr. Watson, Rachel McAdams as Irene Adler, and who could forget Mark Strong as Henry Blackwood.
Death is only the beginning.
The film follows Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson as they embark on a journey to figure out how the villain of the piece, Lord Blackwood, was able to come back from the dead and continue an ongoing killing spree. As far as context for this scene, you actually don't need much. This is really just an establishing scene to show us what Sherlock Holmes is up to. Fans of the character know that he is a little bit of a sociopath, but also an intense thrill seeker, and I think this scene gives us a little bit of both, mixed in with his, of course, iconic wits and cleverness. This scene is just so badass. Let's check it out. Right off the bat, you guys will probably notice that kind of old fighting Irish fighting style, which is very cool. When you're doing a period piece, I think little things like that do make a big difference. Like open hand hitting and the stance of the fighting. It's very classic. It's very old school. It feels very 1800s. I also love that sea shanty, that now Robert Downey Jr. was always the casting choice for Sherlock Holmes in this Guy Ritchie version, and you can definitely see why. I mean, it's one of those roles he was kind of born for, just like Iron Man. I love that little pop, pop, pop slap on the face. Now, I can't remember if it was this scene or a different fight scene in the movie, but during one of them, Robert Downey Jr. actually got knocked out for real by one of the actors. So quite a commitment to the role, I think. If you've passed out for the role and you continue putting on these performances, then good for you. And actually, I don't know where else to put this, so I'm just gonna kind of throw it out there. I do find it a little bit strange that not one time in this entire movie do we hear Sherlock Holmes say, "It's elementary, my dear Watson." I know it's cliche, but like, for a reason, right? I mean, we want to hear him say that. I love here, you could just see he's taunting the guy the entire time. He's getting his ass kicked, but he knows he's not gonna lose, so he's just enjoying every minute of this. Again, this jacks me up. It makes me feel so...
Je ne sais pas.
Now, the character of Irene Adler is a huge part of both of these movies, but also the Benedict Cumberbatch BBC TV show. She really is an incredible character, but she's not that big of a character in any of the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle stories. In fact, I think she only showed up in like one, when Watson and Sherlock were traveling abroad. There was a little bit of history there, which is what is kind of rooted in these movies, but she's a much bigger character in the films, and rightfully so. I think she's kind of the perfect foil for Sherlock Holmes. She's like just as smart as he is and like just as clever, but a little bit less moral, you know? So it's fun. I like it.
That's it, big man. We're done. You won. Congratulations.
Oh, it is about to get so good.
Oi, we ain't done yet.
Downey is just so good as Sherlock Holmes. He's got the accent down, that's part of it, but every single thing, I mean, like the look on his face, the confidence, and then the way it drains from him as soon as he sees Irene.
This mustn't register on an emotional level.
Of course, he's not gonna let it register on an emotional level because he is a psychopath.
High-functioning sociopath with your number.
This will forever remind me of the Phantom Cam from the Jackass movies. You guys remember that? It's like so slow you can see the individual ripples in the skin on impact. That is so incredible. Now to film a fight scene like this, I have to wonder, of course, how much choreography was this, or was it just one take at normal speed and then speed ramped to look this good? It's really hard to know. What I do know is that the lead cinematographer, Felipe Rouzelot, used a super high speed special camera to capture all of this footage. So none of it had to be done in CGI, which don't really know if you could say that for something like this now. Now in the stories, Sherlock Holmes' chosen fighting style, he's like an expert in Baritsu, which is not the fighting style that they're using here. In fact, here, the fighting style that he's actually using here is called Wing Chun Kung Fu, I think, and it's the same fighting style that people like Bruce Lee and Ip Man use. And at the time of filming this, Robert Downey Jr. was already like an expert level at this type of Kung Fu in real life. So this fighting that he's doing, we know for sure he's doing it for real.
We can write jaw. Now fracture.
So that clock to the jaw right there, that was actually filmed in real life in real time with like a 1 second clip. And they were able to slow it down in editing to be like a 7-second clip, extremely smooth, no jitters and no jumps. That means that like minimum, they had to use a camera that could shoot at like 600 frames per second or something like that. I mean, it had to be incredible. So when you're seeing that impact, you're seeing all that skin ripple and move, that's what really happened. It just obviously looks quite different when you slow it down. It's way more epic.
Break cracked ribs. Traumatize solar plexus. Dislocate jaw entirely.
Also, just the word discombobulate. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. That dialogue there towards the end, you know?
Physical recovery, 6 weeks. Full psychological recovery, 6 months.
All of this was just a calculated moment of payback for getting spit on in front of his ex-girlfriend. I love that. It's such an epic scene. It's revolutionary in the filmmaking. The choreography is tight. The editing is perfect. And it's all just a little revenge for being disrespected. That is so unmistakably Sherlock Holmes. I love it. And obviously the slow motion and everything is really the thing with this scene. It's why it's so cinematic. It's why it's so iconic. It's kind of what we remember. But none of it would really be that intense if it wasn't for this quick few seconds at the end where they show his whole slow motion montage come to fruition in real time. It definitely looks a lot different in real time. Awesome. And then he just kind of walks off all cool. He like takes the money that he won, he slams it down on the counter, he grabs a bottle, and he's out. Does that not make you just want to go like do some fucking push-ups or something? Guys, this scene is amazing. In fact, this whole movie is amazing. The cast is great, the performances are great. Guy Ritchie, of course, makes awesome movies. If you haven't seen this one, you definitely need to check it out. Take it from me, there's definitely worse ways to spend a Sunday afternoon. Well guys, as always, if you liked this episode and you like this movie or you like this scene, make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe for the best in movie content, and of course, leave us a comment letting us know what other movies you'd love to see us break down here on the show. And on behalf of everybody here at JoBlo Originals, I want to wish everybody out there a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out.